Let me get the mute going there. What's up, Tiger fans? It's the Morgan Thomas Show. Back again. Glad to have you with us tonight. Another Thursday night, 7 p.m. to talk all things Clemson football, recruiting, basketball, baseball, whatever you want to talk about. Softball, Formula One, Al, I'm sorry, but whatever I want to talk about, whatever you want to talk about. If you are in, thank you for getting in and being a part of the show. We really appreciate everyone getting in and being a part of the show, as always, every Thursday night. Had a ton of people already in the chat. You can see the screen looks a little bit different because, again, you know how it goes. I am trying a different software as I try a different software all the time. Somebody says volume's low, so I'm going to turn it up, see if you can hear me better now, get it closer to my voice here. So hopefully you can hear me better now. Hopefully I'm loud enough for you. I can keep turning it up. I think I can keep turning it up. We will see. Just let me know in the chat. I appreciate everybody getting in over on YouTube. And again, being a part of the show, myself and Big Al, Houston. I already see people in the chat saying, where's Houston at? Well, Houston's been part of the show, 2 years? And he's going to take a little break. I mean, he's having, he's got a new baby, and he's in a career change. So he's trying to, focus on some other things right now. But he will be back, I'm sure of it. But for right now, it'll be back to the original crew, the starters, the beginning show, Morgan Thomas, Big Al, Alan Adams. So hopefully we'll be able to do you well. And you'll probably miss Houston, but maybe we'll make it a little bit less of a miss there. Maybe we'll make it a little bit better. Hopefully you like the new format. At the top, I have the ticker of some subjects that I think might be interesting to you. We have 110% Club. That's the membership that you can, just get free, or not free, but fun emojis and badges. It's 99 cents a month. Do it. I don't care. Do it if you want. We have Patrick Anderson, who is a member of the 110% Club. So thank you very much. And then we've got our DraftKings League. I still run it. I just started it this summer, and when football season comes around, we're going to do a ton of contests over on that DraftKings League. So make sure you get in and you are a part of that, because we're going to have basically contests, free and paid contests all throughout the season, college football season. So again, I'd love for you to be a part of that and be a part of the show there, and basically face off and challenge us if you want. And then also, don't forget to like this video if you like the video, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. That will help us out. We appreciate it. And then again, we don't know if we're going to be on the Roar again this football season for Thursday nights, because typically the past 2 years we've moved the show to the radio on Thursday nights during football season. So we don't know about that yet. It's still pending, but I am part of the Roar on Thursday mornings, and I fill in here and there whenever they need me. I'm kind of like a producer there. So check out the Mickey Plyler Show, and check out all the other shows over there on 105.5 The Roar, Clemson's flagship station. So, pretty good time there. We got a ton of people in the chat already. But before I get into the chat, let me say hello to the guy next to me, Big Al, Alan Adams. Welcome in. Thanks for being a part of the show.
Oh, no need to say hello to me. I mean, the people in the chat are much more important. You got to pay the bills. Look, I want you to know, I can't see the chat very well. I can only see like the right side of the chat, so I'm not ignoring any comments. Morgan's gonna have to get those and let us know what you're saying. Look, hey, you said tonight we're winging it, which is kind of fun.
We are.
I think that can be a fun show. But what that means is it's a viewer-driven show for the most part, or Morgan just talking show. So instead of Morgan just talking, we're going to prefer that you get in the chat with your questions, with your comments, so that we can get some real Clemson talk going on.
Yeah, we appreciate it, you getting in. Like I said, I need to stop talking, that's for sure. But yeah, we didn't really prep, which we don't normally prep. I mean, we just kind of wing it. I wing it every Thursday morning with Mickey. We kind of just, go with the biggest topics out there. He's been doing it for so long. It's kind of easy. You just stick to the top topics. But right now, it's kind of like I was watching SportsCenter this morning, Big Al. Okay. And WNBA is a ton of it. Aja, I think Aja Davis. I don't know her last name. I can't remember. But either way, she played at South Carolina. She's plays for the Las Vegas Aces, and she's dominating. That team is like 19-1 or 19-2. They're on pace to be the best team in the country, historically best WNBA team. And then let's see, what else did I see on there? There was really not a lot. I mean, Wimbledon's coming up, or going on right now, but as far as sports goes, that lull after the All-Star, during All-Star break, it's kind of tough right now.
No.
Did you watch the MLB All-Star game?
I didn't. And it's something I'll watch some of a little bit every now and then, and I'm actually disappointed. I think I caught Game Tracker or something about the seventh inning, saw it was a close one, really wanted to turn it over there, and I can't remember, something was going on at the house. I might have been at Carowinds or something that day. I can't even remember. But I wasn't able to turn it on, and National League finally got a win. It's been forever. So that was a lot of fun. I'm glad they were able to pull it out. 8 Braves, I believe, were a part of that roster. Insane. So I'm loving to see that, including a former Clemson Tiger and Spencer Strider. So good stuff all around for the baseball. I love it. A big baseball guy, as you know. So anything that gives the Braves, in particular, for the MLB an advantage, I'm all for.
Right. Yeah. Well, I got to see some of it. I watched the highlights, about 15-minute highlight. That's what you got to do, Al. When you miss it, you just go on YouTube and watch the highlights. I mean, I wish highlights and YouTube were around when we were growing up, because I would be just all over that. But that's how I get a lot of my stuff. If I miss certain things, minus Formula One, because I obviously watch that, because that's worth watching, of course. But speaking of paying the bills, you remember our second ever sponsor, Heating and Cooling Services Inc.
Yes.
So Sunday, the AC is struggling for me, and I'm getting kind of like, ooh, man, this is not gonna be good. AC struggling on the summertime. Not gonna be good. Well, I called up, or I really just chatted up, messaged Jason Trammell, told him what was going on. He walked me through some things, and it ended up being a couple $100.
Yeah.
Before you know it. So I ended up saving myself thousands of dollars. So Heating and Cooling Services Inc., those guys are trusted. We've been friends with them forever, and they can do residential, commercial, air conditioned, HVAC, heating, cooling, summertime. Al, you probably remember the ad we used to do.
Yeah.
But those guys are great. So I always appreciate them. Big Clemson fans too. So. And Braves fans, so go support them if you need them. That's a free plug, by the way. They don't pay for that right now. So,
That's
right. But yeah, so we did talk about a ton of stuff, and one of the things that we talked about with regards to the Major League Baseball All-Star game. Al, I had a controversial take this morning.
Shocker.
So I may have said that I think that the pitchers should just throw easy pitches.
Yeah, that's a really stupid take.
Okay, so hear me out. I'm watching the game, and this no-name pitcher, I mean, maybe people who watch baseball know him, but I didn't know him. And he's like throwing very difficult pitches. I mean, maybe not for Major League Baseball players, but even the best baseball players in the All-Star game were striking out.
Yeah.
And so my opinion with that is, I'm not, as a fan, as a casual, I'm not interested in strikeouts. I mean, if we need strikeouts, let's have a strikeout derby, okay? Let's put the best batter up there and have 5 pitchers try to strike out Shohei Ohtani, 3 times or something. I don't know. Let's have some sort of pitching challenge, just like the home run derby, okay? Now, then I said, hey, when it comes to the game, you should force them. They can only throw 2 pitches. They can throw a fastball. They can throw a changeup. That's it. That's it. That's my solution. So that way, you know what? We get a lot more hits. We get home runs. We get all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Because to me, as a casual, I just want to see home runs, first of all. But at least I want to see hits. I'm not interested in strikeouts. Now, Tickle Tiger gets in on the chat and he says, well, you don't want a game. Well, that's true. The All-Star game is meaningless anyways, so let's make it fun. To me, seeing the best batters strike out, not interested. All right, Al, go ahead. Run me through the coals.
Yeah, no, what I'm trying to decide is if that's your worst take of all time because, I mean, I recall you saying something to the effect of Trenton Simpson not that good. It's
Whoa, whoa,
something that
whoa,
was,
whoa, whoa!
you
Don't
know,
bring up past.
yeah, something like
Don't
that.
be
That's got to be up
historical.
there. I mean, what a
I just
disastrous
said
take that
I
is.
said he needed to improve on his angles.
He's th- he's throwing so hard, hard pitches, too hard pitches. It's almost like he doesn't want him to hit it. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's absolutely absurd. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, what a horrible take. But I'm glad I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that this morning. I get in at a certain time on Thursday mornings. I didn't hear that, or the roast would have gone on even longer than it did. So yeah, no, what a disaster. They got to play the game. That they got to learn how to hit those pitches where they got to back up the mound, right? Isn't that what they're wanting to do? Back up the mound a couple of feet, give them that extra split second or whatever. There's all kind of solutions there. They've discussed, and I just don't know. But the pitchers, man, the pitchers have gotten just filthy, just absolutely nasty, man. It's very difficult. It's certainly a pitcher's game. Good pitching will beat good hitting any day of the week.
Yeah, I mean, I had a bunch of people in the Adams and Co Roofing text line just blowing me up about it. Like,
Sure.
oh, a lot of people said, "Well, Morgan, you must be a participation trophy guy." I don't know where that came from, Al. Maybe you can explain why somebody would assume that thought is that. I don't take it as that way. I'm not saying the actual game should ever be that way.
Yeah.
I'm just saying the All-Star game that is already no purpose to it.
Yeah.
Should focus on some cool, I don't know, just more hitting.
That's what the home run derby is for, Morgan. You already
I
have
get
that.
it. I get it. The home run derby is for that, but all the players don't play that.
That's true.
Everybody doesn't participate in it.
Not all of them are in the All-Star game either.
Another thing about the home run derby, Al, did you watch the whole home run derby?
No.
So now this is not how it was when I was a kid, or when we were kids. Now, if you hit it 440 feet, you get 30 extras. You get 30 bonus seconds at the end.
Okay.
So the winner, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., got an extra minute. The second place guy got an extra 30 minutes because he only hit one, or 30. Excuse me, extra minute. The other guy got an extra 30 seconds. So he lost by like 2 home runs, but
the guy got more time.
He got more time. So I'm like, I don't know if I really. I mean, I get that they're rewarding like the long ball, but another thing is T-Mobile Stadium. First of all, terrible name. Second of all, the left field bullpen, the left field stands are a giant ad wall and giant billboard and a bullpen. So I don't know, 60% of the left field where you would normally catch home runs is not where fans are at. So I don't remember all the stadiums, but the stadium that I liked the most was like the Cleveland Indian Stadium. The Cleveland Guardian Stadium, where it's like all of left, or maybe it's like Cincinnati, or maybe I can't remember, but there's a few other stadiums where like basically left field is just all fans, just a sea of fans. And I would prefer to have that.
Sure. I don't have any problem with the sea of fans. I love. Hey, the more fans, the better. You know how I am about atmosphere. So yeah, I love a good atmosphere for sure.
Yeah, so that hey, I don't expect anybody to you know how I am with my takes. A lot of times I don't even believe the things I'm saying myself. So I'm just saying stuff because it's just a thought that came in my head. But all right, so let's go through the chat. Let's say hello to everyone. If you haven't gotten in the chat, if you're already in, you make sure to get in because this is the time where I basically say hello. I should play like "Won't You Be My Neighbor" music during this. So we got WB2DX. That's Tiggs. He says, "Go Tigers." He is one of our moderators. Welcome in. Say hello to him. Give him a shout out there. We got Kevron Harris, who is, our number one fan, our longest serving fan. He says, "Hi, Morgan, Big Al, Houston." No Houston tonight, but from Cope, South Carolina. We've got Jermaine Woods gets in. Jermaine, we always love to have you in. Thank you. And he says, "Go Tigers, orange and purple heart." Tig says, "Who do you got, the chickens or the Tigers?" Is that even a question? Is that even question? I mean, I mean, I only eat chicken for dinner. I don't like cheer for the chickens. Um, John Sarian says, "Hope this time sticks." Well, you never know. This, my technology skills are actually really good. I just constantly break things that aren't broken. So I mess with things that aren't. I change things that aren't broken. So that's the big problem there. A couple people saying, "Where's Houston?" We already addressed that. Dallas Thomas, Tigers J talks about Dallas Thomas. I believe that's the new commit for the Clemson Tigers basketball team, men's basketball team. Correct me if I'm wrong. And let's see who else gets in there. John says, Morgan going to media days. I didn't really think it was worth it to take the time off of work to go to media days. Clemson only is really on Thursday. So, I mean, I don't want to go to the other days that they're not covering Clemson, right? So, I mean, would you go to the other days that they're covering the other teams?
I wouldn't. No. But I wasn't invited to any of it. So.
I mean, you can if you're part of a media outlet, you can apply to go, and so, yeah. I mean, I just wasn't really interested. So, I mean, like I said, I can serve in the Clemson media by just giving my opinion, which that's what I care about the most. So
sure. As do we all.
Most of the stuff is video recorded anyways nowadays. So after COVID, they started putting everything on YouTube. So, you get most of it. Or you can watch HCC Network if some people are on there. Ryan Cantor, we need to get Ryan Cantor on. He's starting to do YouTube videos. If you haven't been a part of, if you haven't seen his YouTube stuff, he started out on Shaking the Southland. He's great writing for Shaking the Southland. Also has shared some of my work. So, hey, I mean, I got to support the guys support me, right? And he's kind of getting started into content creation, and I've given him some advice on equipment and stuff, and he's really doing really well, more consistent than me even over on YouTube, and started his channel up. So very, very knowledgeable Clemson grad, I believe, as well. Does some writing for TigerNet as well. So Ryan Cantor, I think you can click on his name and go to his channel too. So he says, with so many guys transferring out, should we get excited about Dallas Thomas? Now, I haven't even really taken a lot of time to think about basketball yet. But obviously basketball nowadays, especially with Clemson, it seems like that's the way it's going to be. Guys are going to constantly in one day, out the other. Revolving door, especially with the transfer portal. Thankfully, I mean, to be honest with you, I feel like Clemson does pretty decent with the transfer portal as far as basketball goes.
Yeah,
I would say more than decent with the basketball portal. Now, Dallas Thomas is a commit, and one thing is they call him Slim, right? So, I mean, he's extremely skinny, from my understanding. So Clemson lands a highly rated forward, 4-star guy on ESPN, 4-star on Rivals, 4-star on 24/7 Sports, top 100 guy, Al, from Little Rock, Arkansas. Parkview Magnet High School, 6'7", 170, small forward. So what do you think about that? I mean, small forward, I guess, who would he be replacing in that case? I'm assuming he maybe would be replacing Hunter Tyson, who is now in the NBA and actually doing really well in the Summer League.
Yeah, that's he had a really good game the other night for sure, and I would assume that's exactly kind of the position he'll be playing. I don't know. I'll be honest. I know nothing about this guy right now. I saw we got the commit. It's been, it was kind of a busy weekend, busy week. I haven't got to look at the film yet, but I will certainly do that so we can discuss that on the show here soon. Kind of get my thoughts on what he's like.
I got this new gadget here. Let me use my gadget.
Oh boy.
All right. I got a gadget. I mean, I can
pick up your phone. I
can do a selection here. All right.
Oh boy.
It'll probably break. It'll probably break.
Watch it on the screen, this tiny little screen, delayed, and see what I think, right? Is that what you're about to do?
Don't knock it until you try it. That's all I'm saying.
I've tried it. I don't like it.
Don't knock it until you try it. That's all I'm saying. Give me a second. Bear with me. Let me pull up the screen here. It's called a smart selection. I'm learning how to do this here. Hold on. Bear with uno momento.
We'll bear. It's not like we're live or anything. Right. No big deal.
All right. I mean, it's not that big a deal, Al. I'm gonna fade this in here. Let me fade it in. Okay, you see down there in the corner. I guess maybe you can, maybe you can't.
I can see some of it.
All right, you
Yep.
can. I don't know why the screen is like halfway for you, but get
I
over it.
don't know.
Um, all right, Maybe if you did on Skype, because you're streamed in from Skype. Maybe if you did like I think you can like double click on my screen and maybe it'll make it bigger. I don't know.
Yeah, I can do the speaker view.
There you go. Do speaker view, and maybe that will help you out. Maybe you can see everything. Does that help?
Let me see. So I'm on speaker view, but I can't get it to expand.
Oh
I can see
well.
everything, but it's pretty small.
Oh well. Make it expand, Al. Come on. All right. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and play it. All right. So this is a tweet from Jack Allen KATV over on Twitter. And he says a really small glimpse into what this guy can do. I know it's kind of small. Nice little spin move there, drive to the basket. Good throw up there. Shot
I think
up.
you need to expand it and just get rid of your face.
That's true. I could do that. Nice
But
little
you're not allowed to do that, I don't think.
nice little mid-range there. Nice little underneath the basket shot there.
Boy, he's skinny.
So that's the thing. Now, his nickname, and I can make it bigger. I'll make it bigger for the fans. I know the chat's in here like they're also going ahead and projecting that the computer crashes, which, thank you for supporting me in this. Al, I'm going to cover up your face. All right? Yeah, we don't need your face here.
Nah.
All right, so Jack Allen, let me refresh it here. They call him Dallas, quote, Slim Thomas. So 6'7", 170. He's a skinny guy. You think it's a bad thing that he's skinny?
Is it a bad thing? Well, I mean, it's just something you got to deal with because I mean, it's a physical game. If he's going to play, a Hunter Tyson type position, he doesn't have to be giant or anything. So I don't think it's going to be a problem. But he is going to have to put on some weight.
Now this edit right here doesn't. I mean, he looks pretty skinny in this edit. I'm hoping that Photoshop guy cut off some of him there. That looks pretty skinny.
Yeah,
So,
I got to tell you, you wanted to talk about this guy and you wanted to, break down a little bit of his film, and you pull up a 25-second clip. Really, is it the best you can do?
this is all I got, man. This is all I got.
Yeah,
I mean,
Good stop.
All right. I'll just
You're
stop. I'll
embarrassing
take
me.
it down. I'll take it down. This is how shows used to go back in the day. So hopefully everybody, enjoys it. Maybe they do. Maybe they don't. I don't know. We'll see. But you can go check it out on your end. I mean, whatever. Whenever you have time, you go check it out. How about that?
That's right. I like it.
All right. So let's continue in. Where were we at? We were down there with we were up there with Ryan Cantor. We got to get back to him. All right. So KE gets in, says Tour de France is on, which I don't think I've ever watched one day in my life.
Right.
John Sarian says Slider Strider is hot. Facts. Tickled Tiger says Mike Matthews to Southern California. I don't know. I mean, we've talked about him in the past couple of weeks, and who knows now. Jason Priester, our friend over, over on Twitter, he put out a sunglasses emoji. Now that's his thing, Al. I know you follow other guys, but
Sure.
for Jason over
Well,
on
I keep track of
Twitter,
Jason. Yeah, no doubt.
Jason does the sunglasses emoji. So that typically means somebody, in his opinion, has told him that they are committed. So there must be someone out there that is already committed to Clemson that will be announcing soon. Now, when you look at the targets that are out there, the ones that I think are already, well, they already have a couple of crystal ball players out there that are public crystal balls. Okay. So if you look at if you go into 24/7 Sports, the latest crystal ball is 3-star safety, 6'2", 190-pound Ashton Hampton. Now he's been Wiltfonged or fonged, if you will. Wiltfong is the director of recruiting for 24/7 Sports. So you would assume if he put him out there, that would be a high probability that he's going to commit to Clemson. So 6'2", 190 safety there for the Tigers. That actually adds. Now the Clemson actually has. I'm looking at the big board now. They actually have Noah Dixon, and they have Ricardo Jones.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be 3 safeties this class. When you look at the 2023 roster, well, that kind of matches up. You've got Jalen Phillips, who's a graduate safety. Then you got Tyler Venables, who I assume will be leaving. He's a senior. And then you got R.J. Mickens. Man, can you believe, Al? R.J. Mickens, it seems like just yesterday we were talking about him as a commitment to Clemson.
Yeah.
And now he is a senior getting ready to move on. Maybe,
Yep.
possibly. Now, we don't know for sure yet. But in this case, they are bringing in 3, so you would assume that there would be some attrition of 3. Now, I mean, the most likely, I don't like predicting players that would be leaving early because they're transferring. I don't like doing that at all.
Sure.
But you're looking at those 3 guys are your most likely guys that would be not on the roster next year, that would need to be moved up or replaced in the 2024 recruiting class. Would you agree? What are your thoughts on possibly Clemson landing a 3rd safety?
Yeah, well, I think Clemson, if I'm not mistaken, I think they started recruiting him actually as a cornerback. And then I think it turned into kind of, well, we'll just classify him as wherever. He's probably classified as an athlete or something. I'm not really sure. Because
Okay.
I think he can play anywhere. I think he could do cornerback, potentially safety. He might play the nickel position, something like that. But yeah, I think that's kind of the deal there. So you can't, you can't ever have enough of any players. Can't ever have enough DBs. Mike Reed does a great job there. He always has, always has us out front there. So I don't particularly worry about the DBs. I know they had a rough game at Wake Forest last year. I get that. I understand that. But Reed's going to get them where they need to be for this season for sure.
Yeah, I think, obviously, I think Clemson has probably some of the better secondary coaches in the country. I know a lot of people argue about that back and forth, but you got to think maybe that's the guy that's next. Ashton Hampton, crystal balled already, Wilt Fonged, if you will. So he will be committing on the 15th. So that is Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
So he's the next up. Now, where has he had official visits? He's had official visits at Arkansas, Clemson, Florida, Florida State, and Louisville. Well, not Florida State yet. He was originally going to go to Florida State late in the season. So now he has said, I'm not going to Florida. He's not going to go to Florida State. So he has foregone that. And it looks like, in this case, highly likely to go to Clemson. So that's pretty exciting news there. Now, that would make Clemson have 15 total commits. So they've had a strong summer so far. And then the next one up under crystal balls would be Corian Gibson. And Al, after that, Mickey and I were talking about it this morning. There's not a ton of guys that are still left on the board that are interested in Clemson. I mean, there are after that, right now there are 15 guys. Of the 15 guys that are still offered and not committed, Clemson is in the mix for 8 of them. Now,
Okay.
of those 8, 2 are crystal balled, and of the 6 left, highly likely, maybe 2. So it's dwindling down for the 2024 recruiting class, but it still doesn't mean that it's not a good recruiting class. They're a top 15 class right now. I think one area that fans are probably most frustrated with is the offensive line. They are 1 for 15 right now. Jordan Seaton is not interested. And Jamison Riggs, I really couldn't find any information, but he has come to camp. He did come to junior day, and he did have an official visit. So Jamison Riggs maybe still a possibility, one of a few. Clemson is one of a few options for him, but Jordan Seaton's not. So really there's only 1 left on the board for offensive line when originally I think they wanted to get 3. So do you feel like offensive line has frustrated you when you look at, the amount of guys that haven't committed?
Oh, I'm beyond frustrated with offensive line, and it's funny because that doesn't mean what it doesn't mean is I'm in panic mode because that's That's not the way it works. Offensive line, we've talked about on the show. I feel like we talked about this last week on the show. It's one of the hardest positions to project. There are guys out there who are going to be able to play that you can get late that maybe aren't even on a lot of radars right now. You can find those 2, 3 star guys. Sometimes they work out great. The problem is you said we went 1 for on our guys. Of all of our offered guys, we're 1 for right now. Ronan O'Connell, and the fact is, we had to pull off a stunner to get Ronan O'Connell. Everybody thought he was going to Tennessee until very, very late, and then so yeah, we whiffed big time on our main guys, and that's not. I don't think there's any positive way to spin that. The only way I can spin the overall picture is the fact that there are still guys that we can land that can be great college players or good college players. And I would argue Clemson has never had a great offensive line, with these championships they've been winning. They do it with quarterback play and receivers. And, the receivers I think are taken care of with the 2 we have committed. I like where we are at quarterback. So the offensive line just has to get the job done. They don't have to be dominant or anything like that. But I will say it's a lot easier for the Georgias of the world who are recruiting 6 guys, all 4 and 5 star guys on their offensive line every single year. So that means the guys we get, first of all, we're gonna have to find some diamonds in the rough, at least as far as this class in particular, it seems like is concerned. You have to find some diamonds in the rough, and you got to hit on those guys. You can't find the 2 star guy who plays like a 2 star guy. So it's gonna be tough. It's not gonna be easy, but there are certainly guys out there that Clemson can find that's gonna match what they want. And potentially they could turn out to be great players. We don't know that right now. It's just from the outside looking in, and if you're stargazing in particular, you're going to be disappointed.
Yeah, I think so. I think if you're everybody's looking for the stars, but I mean, still, I think another reason why it hurts is because there are, you know what I'm about to say, Al. There are a few guys who ended up choosing South Carolina instead of Clemson. So there's some of that frustration as well from the Clemson fan base. I think that's, justified, to be honest. Now, some of the fans are getting in over on Twitter, and they're saying that it could be possibly that Clemson has just, been recruiting well, and so maybe you have a down year, just like in quarterback, right? So if you look at the roster right now for offensive line, you've got Will Putnam, Walker Parks, and Mitchell Mays. Those are your graduates or seniors. That's who I think you would assume those are your for sure we need to replace guys. Now, whether or not some of them take a COVID year or not, it's hard to say.
Right.
But those would be the guys that you would say, hey, we probably need to think about recruiting to replace those guys. And you really could have said Harris Sewell, Zechariah Owens, and Ian Reed were those guys. Maybe if you look at it that way. On the flip side, you want to get 3. You had a class of 4 juniors right now. Redshirt junior Brian Tucker, redshirt junior Trent Howard, redshirt junior John Williams, and then junior Marcus Tate. I know a lot of people are saying, who? And then Marcus Tate? Those other guys really haven't seen a lot of playing time. I get it.
Right.
Where are those guys? When are they going to get playing time? Will they get playing time this year? Who knows? But you have 4 in that junior position. You probably want to replace 3 of those guys. So that's why you're looking at maybe 3 this year. Now, the concern there is that you only have 1. So next year, you don't have a Putnam. You might not have Parks. You might not have Mays. Tate's going to be your senior guy. If you have Tucker, Howard, and Williams, well, those guys at that point in next year, Al, will be redshirt seniors with little to no significant playing time, in my opinion. So that's a big concern. I don't foresee those guys. To me, selfishly, for those guys, I don't foresee those guys wanting to continue to stay, even after another year of lack of playing time. But, we'll see. Then you go to sophomores. You have redshirt sophomore Ryan Linthicum, who people are getting in the chat, hey, where's he been? He was the number 1 center in the country. Really haven't seen much of him. Will Putnam had to move over and be center because he wasn't ready. So where has he been? I don't know. Dietrich Pennington, who's been injured, big, massive guy, a lot of hype around him a couple of years back, but where's he been? We haven't seen him. He's been a lot slower coming back from his knee injury. Tristan Lee, who you think is your next man up, he really doesn't have a ton of experience either. So Tristan Lee is that 5-star guy that needs to step up. So Al, and then you have Colin Sadler, redshirt freshman. We're big on Blake Miller, true sophomore. He didn't get redshirted. He came in with Sadler. And then you have true freshmen Harris Sewell and Zachariah Flapjack Owens and Ian Reed. Honestly, from the guys that are brought in, Blake Miller, Colin Sadler, and Sewell, Owens, and Reed, I don't think that Thomas Austin has a recruiting problem.
No.
Something's up with this year, but I don't think that it's a problem.
Yeah, I would totally agree. I should have clarified when I was talking earlier is that I don't think this is an overall issue. I don't think it's something that is going to necessarily come back to haunt Clemson. And I say that for several reasons, because I like the previous couple classes. I like the fact that we got Colin Sadler and Blake Miller. I think those are going to be good players. We already know Miller is. And I like the fact, Ian Reed, you mentioned Zachariah Owens and Harris Sewell. I think those guys are going to be great. So I don't have any problem with that. And I don't think we're going to be, have any issues there. Clemson has also shown the propensity to go after one or two from the portal to fill those gaps. And that's what Clemson fans have been begging for forever. So I think there's options there. They went after the guy from Virginia last year, a couple years ago, the center, Oluwatimi, or however you say his name. And so it's not something that Clemson won't necessarily do. It's an option. It's another option on the table. And look, here's the thing, we might get, we'll get a couple more this class. We're going to get a couple more, whether it be, the guys on our original list. It's not going to be, because they're committed elsewhere right now, but we've got other guys that we're going to find that'll probably turn out to be good players, but they're not going to have the stars. But here's the thing, in 2025, if you land, a David Sanders, who Clemson seems to be, near the top of his board, and you land a Braden Jacobs or somebody like that, you start landing some big names, you can fill that gap of that one relatively down class. You can fill the gap, and nobody's going to care about the 2024 class. But the thing is, when you're Clemson and you're so selective and you're not taking as many as I think you should, I think you should be signing like 4 offensive linemen a year. And I get it. It's a hard thing to do, but we've taken classes of 2, we take classes of 3. And we took that one giant class of like 5 or 6, and several of those were reaches, which is, kind of presented a little bit of a problem, especially when it comes to depth. But if Clemson can get on a cycle of going 3 or 4 offensive linemen every year, I think we're going to be in good shape. Yet there's just something weird about this year. Austin missed on his targets, plain and simple. He's going to have to fix it, and I think he'll do it next season. And I hope he's going to be able to do it with some big time talent. 4- and 5-star guys. Clemson fans will no longer care about what happened in 2024.
Now you got to think it kind of does set up for an opportunity to finally make some hits in the transfer portal. I mean, if those redshirt juniors that move up, that move on, and they also don't get their 3 that they're looking for in recruiting, that would be a significant gap for me to say, you know what, it's time to go get someone that wants to be on a better team on the offensive line and possibly start. Now, the problem you have is that, and I say problem, but if Tristan Lee works out and he is the left tackle, another problem with transfer portal offensive linemen is you could probably get a center, but to transfer portal guard, most people, if they've been a guard for 3 years, they're ready to move to a left tackle or a center or something where they can get drafted. So it may or may not be as easy to get somebody to agree to, I'm just going to be an interior offensive lineman, because a lot of times guys that are tackles, that are the best tackles, they play tackle, they get drafted as tackles, but guys that are average tackles or maybe above average tackles, those guys move to the inside. So then the inside guys are seen as, replaceable by those outside guys who were better anyways. It's kind of like in high school, you typically don't go after the inside guys because in high school, the best guys should be playing tackle. So kind of the same thing, just on the next level up. But as you mentioned, top targets for 2025, you already mentioned it, 5-star, 6'6", 255-pound guy, David Sanders from Providence Day School. Now, fans in the chat, you may understand Providence Day School, Charlotte, North Carolina. That's Jaden Davis's school, okay? Honestly, when I watch film, the reason why Jaden Davis so doggone good is because David Sanders is blocking for him as a left tackle. I mean, you go and look at the film, Al. I start to drool more over David Sanders than I do Jaden Davis.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah,
and
no,
they
I haven't
also
seen his film, but I know what you're talking about. We haven't gotten into 2025 yet, as far as our film analysis usually is concerned. So I'll definitely do that. But yeah, this guy, from all accounts, is going to be a stud.
And then they have Justin Hasenhüttl from Germany, inside offensive lineman, 4-star, second best inside offensive lineman. He seems to be excited about his Clemson offer as well. He's from Rayburn Gap, Georgia, but flips back and forth between there and Germany. And yes, Al, I did look that up before saying that. All right, so let's get into some just random topics. Oh, by the way, Tickle Tiger gets in over on chat and says, we don't develop offensive linemen. What do you think about that?
I don't agree right offhand. And I think a lot of reason that people say that is because we don't have a lot drafted. And I understand that, but man, it is really difficult to get people drafted when you're building your offensive line classes out of 2 and 3-star guys. Now, lately it's been 3 and 4-star guys for Clemson. And you've seen a couple more go in the draft because of that. And I think as they continue to elevate that stature, they're going to be able to do it. When you're recruiting nothing but 4 and 5-star guys, like a Georgia or maybe Ohio State or Alabama, yeah, of course they're all going to get drafted. They were the stars. We're trying to go about it in it's a more difficult task for us to get linemen drafted. I hope some of them will go for sure. I hope Tristan Lee finally turns out to be the 5-star player that he was. And even the 5-star guys we got, Mitch Hyatt. Remember, I mean, unbelievable college tackle. But he was never going to be a high draft pick, and he just didn't have the measurables. I don't think he quite put on the weight that he was going to need probably for the NFL level. But he was a phenomenal college player. So even the few 4 and 5-star guys that we have gotten, never really had quite the potential of some of these other guys. So we'll see how it goes. I really think we're going to be able to turn things around. I think we're going to be able to land a few. I think going into expanding that footprint into Texas like he did with Reed and Sewell last year, I think that's going to help out a lot. But yeah, Thomas Austin's going to be he's going to be on the clock for this class in 2025, and if he's going to able to land some of those studs, I think everything will be just fine.
All right, so I wanted to get into some just random topics that because again, this is a random show. This just in, Al, press release here, exclusive, not exclusive. The CW, ACC, and the CW, Al. I see your face. I see your face already. The CW. Let me read this to you here. The CW network has secured exclusive broadcast rights to 50 ACC college football and basketball games each season through 2026-2027. The first ACC football game will air on the CW on September 9th between the Pittsburgh Panthers and non-conference opponent Cincinnati Bearcats. In addition to 13 football games, the CW will broadcast 28 men's basketball games and nine women's basketball games. They're committed to making the network a destination for live sports. ACC is home to, they're just doing the fluff now. Other key points. 50 games, Pitt versus Cincinnati, and then just some other fluff about how great the ACC is. So that's the press release, basically. What are your initial thoughts on the Clemson and the ACC? I mean, ACC and the CW striking up a deal.
The clown show continues. What a disaster this is for the ACC. We got to do better than this, y'all. It's really simple. I've never wanted to necessarily be that guy to say we need to get in the SEC or we need to get in the Big Ten or whatever it may be, but we're desperate now. Now's the time. When you start having the CW come calling, yeah, you got to get out, and you got to get out now.
See, I thought people were making fun of the Pac-12 for this same thing. And now here the ACC is doing this. Is the ACC? It says, Tickle Tiger says, is Live Golf? Is ACC Live Golf now? Some people say bring Raycom back.
Oh boy.
I mean, you remember Raycom? I mean,
I do.
Really, Raycom. Come to find out, basically was Swafford's son's. He was part of that. So, All right, so another topic, another topic here. At least it's just a few games, as John Sarian says. At least it's just a few games. Majority of basketball games. So 13 football games, the majority, the rest basketball games. So Greg McElroy on ESPN just gave out his top 10. And Clemson, number 10, Florida State 6. I continue to not understand why Florida State gets a preseason jump over Clemson. But McElroy says, quote, Dabo's done an amazing job. We look at an 11-3 season in the ACC championship game. By the way, everybody forgets they won the ACC championship game. They got a New Year's Six bowl invite. But then he says, what a failure. That's a good thing, okay? So let's just take that as a grain of salt. I think Clemson will be back in the mix again in this year in the ACC. But I think with the pieces they return, I have them actually finishing second in the ACC. So what he's saying there is failure against Tennessee was a good thing. All right, so I want to get your thoughts on that first. Was failure against Tennessee a good thing?
Are we just talking Tennessee? What about South Carolina?
Okay. Well, he was talking. We'll talk about South Carolina as well. But really, let's talk about the prime time, the bowl game, the Orange Bowl. Was that a failure?
Okay, so whatever got Garrett Riley here is not a failure. If that's what it was, if it was the Tennessee game that was the final nail in the coffin or whatever, fine, I'm all for it. But yeah, that was a tough game to watch. When we saw what we saw in the ACC championship with Cade Klubnik and how dynamic the offense looked immediately after taking DJ out, it's like all of our prayers had been answered. It was back to the Trevor Lawrence and Deshaun Watson days. I mean, it was immediate playmaking ability. We saw it early and often in the ACC championship game, and then it fell flat against Tennessee. And Tennessee was, not really known for their defense. They were known for their offense, and we did not play anywhere near as good. We went up and down the field and couldn't score. Which unfortunately in football is a problem because you got to score. So it was a failure in the fact that we couldn't put it in the end zone. But I'd say it is a big win if it's what brought Garrett Riley to Clemson.
Yeah, I mean, you see that in hindsight. You didn't really know that was going to happen at the time. Before that happened, though, it was very frustrating. You had a situation where Clemson didn't seem to have the right game plan. They didn't seem to properly ease Cade Klubnik into his legit first start of his career, and they didn't seem to stick to their strengths. So there was a lot of things that kind of left you thinking Clemson was getting worse as the season went on, and so. Then immediately after that, all things were erased, and Clemson brings in Garrett Riley, and so it's a good thing, right? So we kind of push that aside. Okay, Clemson lost that, but now they have a new offensive coordinator. But then he goes back and says, he feels like that Clemson will be in the ACC mix again, but with the pieces they return, they should finish second. Now, here's my argument to that. Those same pieces were there for the most part. Now, I know Florida State technically, according to Phil Steele, returns more players than Clemson does from their starting lineup, and they're too deep. But for the most part, on the offense, it's still there. On the defense, I think a lot of it's just reloaded. And I don't feel like that Clemson has gone backwards as far as a roster goes. Now, with the pieces that they return, they were already at one point in Florida State's home, beating them by 20 points with DJ, who we all know was very frustrating to watch as a fan, as a quarterback. So I think that that's also ignored. That, yes, the game was a lot closer at the end of the game, but there was a time where Clemson was up by 20 points against Florida State, and it was like they couldn't stop Clemson. Mm-hmm. So and that was at their house with a lot of hype at that time. So what makes me think that they're going to finish second to Florida State with the same pieces that they return in his statement?
Well, I will tell you this. A lot of times Florida State is kind of pumped up, in the top 25, maybe a little bit more than they should be. And maybe that's true this year. But, I mean, they've returned a lot of receiver talent and have got transferred in receiver talent, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, they've got some guys that are going to be able to catch the ball and quarterback's not bad either. That's more proven than Cade is right now for sure. So and DJ had a good game against Florida State from what I remember last year. DJ had a few good games last year, especially near the start of the year. So it's even though you want to say DJ, you're kind of giving that connotation that the DJ against Florida State was the DJ we had later in the season against South Carolina and whoever it may be, and that's not exactly the case. So the quarterback thing may or may not be a wash. It all depends on Cade and the offense and how he handles it and how he improves over this offseason. So yeah, they've got some real players. Clemson's defense should still be there, and we are at home, so we should win that game. But just because you're the better team doesn't mean you always win the game, i.e., the South Carolina game last year.
And my disclaimer out when we say we went to Clemson, we graduated from Clemson. Al did it way much earlier and during the normal time period. I did it much later in my life, but at the end of the day, we're fans. We're talking about it from that perspective. We're not involved in the football team at all. But
right.
I think I agree with you a lot. Is that you cannot. To me, the media is just trying to hype up something and probably trying to pump this game up more than it already needs to be. I mean, it's already a big time historical matchup between two teams. I think it's going to be a big game, and it's early on in the season, so there's a lot of things going for it. They could be two undefeated teams going into this game, or in my prediction, they could be one undefeated team and one loss team going into this game. With Florida State losing to LSU, I think that could easily happen. So, but it will still be a very hyped up game as far as the ACC goes, and as far as Florida State goes, if they have to get back on track, if they have to prove themselves again, or show that they fixed what they lost in LSU, or if they could show, hey, we are back, we are on top now, and we beat LSU, now we're going to beat Clemson, so they're going to down both Tigers in a month. So we'll see what happens. Again, Florida State, to me, they still got to prove it to me. Now I understand we have orange colored glasses, so we could be saying Clemson's running away. Clemson got to prove it too because the guys they leave. But let's let the game be played out. Hey Al, it's 8:00 on the dot here. I know that you got a hard stop. That's what we like to say. I don't know if you do that in your work, but we have a hard stop here. Yep. Al has a hard stop at 8. Let me pull up my chat. I'm gonna keep going here with the people that are in here. Looks like we have about 31 people in. And so Al, before I do, as we always do, I'll let you have the floor. Your final thoughts before you get out of here.
Final thoughts is we got August camp coming up. I'm excited about August camp, as we always are. We get excited about the weigh-ins just to kind of see what everybody has been up to in the offseason, how they've progressed. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. The hype is going to start getting more real. It's going to start getting more real. August camp's going to come around, and we're going to hear about how these receivers are frisbee catching dogs, running wide open in the new Garrett Riley offense. It's going to be awesome. Look, the thing about it is we just got to get through August camp, stay healthy, and it's going to be a fun season. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait for football season to get here. And as always, go Tigers.
Yeah, thanks again, Al. I appreciate you being a part of the show, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, brother.
All right. So that was Big Al. Thanks again, Big Al, for getting in. He is officially signed off. So thanks to everybody for getting in and being a part of the show with Big Al. I'm going to keep it going, and continue the discussions that we have. I did have something that I was going to try later on tonight, and something that I think is pretty interesting. I'm not sure if it will work. We shall see. But let me pull up my screen here. I'm going to move some of my screens around now that Big Al is gone, and we'll continue the discussion and see if I can't, run this thing myself. Walt always gets on to me. He says, "Morg, you got to learn how to run this yourself." And I feel like I started out, 5 years ago, doing this live stream, and basically, like I said, running it myself. And then after a while, it was like, okay, I'm done talking to the wall. I'm ready to, add somebody else in here. And that guy ended up being Big Al, who's a guy I've known since high school. Actually, since elementary school. So Big Al and I have been friends for quite some time. Again, continuing in, I don't know who my top 10 would be. Yeah, I need Ramona. That's right, Tickle Tiger. I need Ramona. I don't know who my top 10 would be. Hold on. Let me see if I can. I think I have where's my field? Here we go. Here we go. I got my Phil Steele magazine. If you, do you guys, let me know in the chat. Do you have your Phil Steele mag? Is that your magazine that you go get, your Phil Steele magazine? So if you go to Phil Steele's magazine, let's see, where does Phil Steele have his top 25? Let me see if I can find it here. You know, the only thing I don't like about Phil Steele's magazine is that the font, as I'm getting older, the font is extremely small. All right, here we go. Phil Steele's 2023 preseason top 40. Now, I won't go through all 40. Man, I'm going to need some light here. I'm getting old, guys. I'm getting old. Let me put on my reading light as I as I look this up here. Okay, so number one, of course, is Georgia. Last year, according to Phil Steele, last year Georgia lost an amazing 9 draft picks off the defense, but Kirby Smart not only guided them back to the SEC title game, he went 15-0 and won a second straight national title. The Bulldogs have 13 returning starters. While they must replace their quarterback, they lose a lot less in the draft and have showed last year they can reload. The schedule sets up well, and they should be a double-digit favorite in almost every game. I will call for the first three-peat since Minnesota back in 1934 to 1936. So that's Phil Steele on Georgia. Now, so we obviously know from that Georgia has a really easy schedule, really very similar to last season. You know, with being able to kind of run through it, they're going to be double-digit favorites all the way through. Again, this has happened before. Obviously, there are a team that's won 3 national championships, but not in the modern era. I mean, this is 1934. You know, this is a long time ago. College football is so much different. Football in general is so much different from there. Obviously, you can't knock the statistics. I don't want to beat somebody up because that's what they had back then. But, you know, Georgia, to do it in today's age with NIL, with the fact that other coaches couldn't do it, and the fact that Kirby Smart is now doing it, is really big. Now, I think from a Georgia's perspective, it seems like Carson Beck is going to be the quarterback. Let me know what you think. I mean, is Georgia really going to be that for sure national champion 3 times in a row? Don't even play the games? Do they not even need to play the games anymore because Georgia is going to be a national champion again for the 3rd time? Could there be anybody that could possibly beat Georgia? Or is Georgia just ready to set up to win it again in 2023? I feel like everybody beats me up, okay? Everybody beats me up for pulling for Formula One, for liking Formula One. And everybody says, oh, well, Clemson, you know, like Formula One, it's always the same winner. Max Verstappen wins. He wins. Every game, every race, he wins. And then when it wasn't Max Verstappen, it was Lewis Hamilton. Every year, he wins. And then before that, it was Sebastian Vettel. You know, and then, I mean, Formula One historically typically has these guys, these great racers, these great pilots that just go on a run. But does not college football have the same thing? Because I get people that say, oh, I could never watch Formula One because it's always the same team that wins. But does not college football have the same thing in a lot of ways? I mean, Alabama. Clemson got in there a little bit. But it was Clemson, Alabama. And then Ohio State tried to get in there. Now Georgia's in there. Georgia. Nobody can even compete with Georgia. They're recruiting so much better. And with the NIL, it's getting even worse. Now, with that schedule, some of the fans may say it's not their fault. The schedule's easy. Maybe the schedule is not easy. Maybe there are difficult games in there, okay? Week 1, UT Martin Skyhawks. Okay? They're named after what? The Cessna. Is that a Cessna? So I think that's a win. September 9th, Ball State Cardinals. Well, those are 2 games. That's a win. Now, I would normally say September 16th would be a difficult game. That's against South Carolina, but it's going to be in Georgia. Now, normally under maybe a Steve Spurrier-led team, South Carolina would beat them. Shane Beamer's got a lot of hype around him, but I just don't know if the same way we say that Clemson's roster has continued to at least maintain and hasn't gone down, I feel like South Carolina's roster, the Gamecocks roster, has gone down. They're not as good as they were last year. And again, it's early in the season. Now, can they continue the success they had from last season? I don't think so. I think this will be a win for Georgia. UAB Blazers win. So they get 4 home games, and they get to the very end of September before they have to actually play an away game, and that's against the Auburn Tigers, who have a brand new coach and don't know who their quarterback's going to be and are, in shambles right now trying to rebuild. So I don't think the Auburn Tigers are ready to beat Georgia, even if it is at home. It's not that far away to get to Auburn, so not that difficult of a drive. Kentucky Wildcats now, while they have Devin Leary now, they're typically not a team that can beat Georgia. So there you go, and it's another home game again. So they get 1 away game against Auburn, and then they get a home game against Kentucky to start out October, and then October 14th at Vanderbilt. Now, Vanderbilt's going to be a win there. So far, before their first bye week on October 21st, they play 5 home games and 2 away games. So 5 home games, 2 away games, and then they get on a bye. After that, they have the Florida Gators, who are, again, the Florida Gators are their own fan base is making fun of their quarterback. They don't think Graham Mertz can do it. So Florida Gators, even though it's in Jacksonville, that's, a game I would put up for Georgia. Now, Missouri is another home game for them. I mean, Eli Drinkowitz is on the hot seat as far as could he not have a job next year? So that one's another one. Now, Ole Miss might be difficult. What do you think? Let me know in the chat. What do you think? Is Ole Miss the first true test they have of the entire season? When you get all the way to November 11th, is Ole Miss a test? Now, Kentucky would be a ranked team. Ole Miss would be 22nd. Or is it the next week? Is it at Tennessee? Which is going to be the more difficult game? I mean, we're talking about later on in the season at this point, November 18th at Tennessee. This is a game that's going to be an away game. That's by far their most difficult game. If you look at it, is it not their most difficult game? So, to me, I would have to say that Tennessee is their most difficult game, and it is all the way in November. Their next most difficult game would be Ole Miss. And then their next most difficult game, maybe Kentucky at that point. Maybe Devin Leary. I don't know. Tennessee will be the test. Tiggs gets in, says Tennessee's got to be the test. So at that point, they only have 1 game left. In the regular season, that's at Georgia Tech. That won't be a game. And then the SEC championship game against who knows. So that's your number 1 team. Their schedule looks really good for them. And then, according to Phil Steele, going back to his top 10, I haven't read this yet, fellas. I haven't read this. Clemson is number 2, according to Phil Steele. Now, this is his preseason. Now, he has a disclaimer here. Preseason rankings are not his power rankings. So, he says this take into account the circumstances that the teams will face in 2023. So when you look at Clemson, I haven't taken many chances with my top 4 the last 2 years, but Clemson doesn't even figure to be favored to win the ACC this year, which we just got done talking about. While they lose a lot off the defensive line, they showed in 2019 they can just reload and could be even deeper than the 2018 group. I believe Cade Klubnik will give them their best QB play since Trevor Lawrence, with a veteran offensive line and a top-notch running backs. Their 2 toughest games, Florida State and Notre Dame, are both at home, and Dabo Swinney has a great shot at running the table, and the Tigers are a title contender. How do you feel about that? Let's start from the beginning there, or at the end there. The Tigers are a title contender. Do you really feel that way? I know after the Tennessee game, it kind of felt like, where is Clemson going after the Tennessee game? But then, as we mentioned earlier, Garrett Riley comes along, and now everything changed. And some guys are returning. Tyler Davis returning. Xavier Thomas returning. Sheridan Jones and Jalen Phillips returning. So is this a year where they have an ability to get to the title game? In my opinion, when I first thought about it, I said, well, I do think that it'll take a year. I think that Garrett Riley has to get his system in, and the players have to get comfortable with it, and the quarterback has to get comfortable with it. So, but now I'm thinking, the more the coaches tell us, which a lot of times we have to say, for sure. Dabo Swinney does coach speak for sure. Sorry, I hit the button there. Dabo Swinney knows how to hype it up, right, in the preseason. But he knows his team, right? I mean, he knows. I don't think he's lying when he says Garrett Riley has come in, and the staff and the team have picked up his offense very quickly. You remember they installed this offense in the month of February. The offense has already been installed before they started hitting the field with it. Now, I went to practice, the first practice of the season. I like to go to the first practice of the season just to see what it's like, and I usually don't bother the full-time writers and people that serve other than that first practice. And when I went out there, one thing that was surprising to me was that the quarterbacks were all in understanding of what was going to happen. They knew what drills Garrett Riley wanted to go through. They knew what practice drills to go through. They knew what order to go through. They knew where to go when they did individual drills. They knew where to go when they did team drills. They knew where to go. Now, a lot of it was probably just because they've already been there, and that's the way practice goes, and that's how practice has always gone. But their interaction, the quarterback's interaction with Garrett Riley, is what I saw, what I went to go see. And to be honest with you, they went from individual drills immediately over to offense versus defense in a 2-minute drill situation, and it didn't seem like there was any confusion. It didn't seem like there was a lot of discussion that needed to be made. It seemed like the offense, at least with the quarterbacks and the play calling with Garrett Riley, knew what to do. So I was very encouraged by that. So can they be a title contender? Well, some people say, well, Morgan, they can't be a title contender because they still have the same wide receivers that drop all those passes, or that are always injured, or that can't get open. And it wasn't always DJ's fault. And it's still the same wide receivers. And it's still the same offensive line, or maybe even a worse offensive line, because they lose Jordan McFadden. Well, losing a left tackle is not a thing to take lightly, for sure. Losing an offensive tackle, a left tackle, for sure is especially someone that's been doing it and been doing it at a high pace, talking 800 plus, almost 900 snaps for the team every single season for like 3 seasons in a row. That's nothing. That's nothing small to replace. So doing that with a left tackle you know, we have to kind of say, hey, that might be difficult. I'm going to throw my logo up here because it's not. I noticed my logo is not on the screen, so I'm going to throw my logo up. Hey, logo. Tickle Tiger says, don't think Riley waves magic wand and big plays appear. I hope I'm wrong. He also says, could win a bunch of ugly games if the defense is elite. Second year, Wes figures out. John Sarian says, Riley adjusted to SMU skill and then the TCU skill, didn't run exactly the same playbook. He'll do the same to get the most out of Clemson's skill guys. Streeter kept pushing regardless of players, which I think that Tony Elliott did as well. Push through. This is what we're going to do. You have to fit me. I can't fit you. And you don't want to do that. I think more often than not, that's going to lead you to getting fired and losing your job. Is if it's always you have to fit my playbook. I can't mold on the players that I have. And the worst part is if you get guys like somebody who can't handle your playbook or who can't handle the traditional plays, and then you have to dumb down your playbook, then you're very limited, which I think is what happened. But either way, I do agree. I think that Riley has been able to show that in a short amount of time, he's taken different teams, completely different players, and adjusted to them and got them to buy into his, maybe not even adjusted them, but got them to buy into what he was doing. And it ended up being successful and having success with statistics on the offense. I honestly, Tickled Tiger in the chat, I would be disappointed if there were a ton of ugly games. I think that Garrett Riley is better than that. I think that I expect games to not be ugly games. I expect the offense to work and improve. I mean, if there are ugly games, then to me that means the offense didn't improve even with Garrett Riley. I mean, I've already seen, I feel like 2 years of, quote, ugly games, and they still won 10. So if you can win 10 or more games and have ugly games, I think with one of the best and highly sought after offensive coaches in the country, you should be able to have better than ugly games. That's just my thought. I'm not trying to knock what you said. I'm just saying I hope that ugly games are not the case. I can't see it in my head as them even having it. So, and he also gets in and says, did Dabo finally back off? Does Dabo back off from, the play calling? Now, I think that Dabo doesn't call a ton of plays unless, I don't know. I just don't. I don't feel like Dabo calls a ton of plays. I know that there's a lot of controversy on how many he does or doesn't do. I don't think he calls a ton, but I think he probably would call even less now with Garrett Riley. If he's at the point where he's continuing to call plays, it's just because he has that maybe he has that just desire to call a few plays here and there. Hopefully it's just a few plays. Continuing with the top 10 from Phil Steele's 2023 preseason top 40, you've got next up Michigan and Alabama at 4, Ohio State at 5, Penn State at 6, Southern California at 7, Florida State at 8, LSU at 9, and Notre Dame at 10. So he actually has Florida State below Clemson. Now, here's what he says about Florida State. Mike Norvell hit the portal hard the last 2 years. He transformed Florida State, which was coming off 4 consecutive losing seasons, into a 10-3 team last year. That was the best team in the ACC statistically and a national title contender, led by QB Jordan Davis. Florida State ranks in the top 15 of all 7 position groups, including special teams. They open with LSU and have a chance and have to face Clemson, Pitt, and Florida on the road. They will be the preseason favorite to win the ACC. Again, that goes, again, you have Pitt and Clemson on the road. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I think they have a difficult schedule. They get to host LSU this year, I believe. But then those games against, actually the LSU game I think might be in Orlando. Maybe I'm maybe I'm wrong. Let me go to Florida State's. Let me go to Florida State's schedule before I misspeak here. Yeah. So the LSU game is at Camping World Stadium in Orlando. So not really a home game for them. And then they get Clemson, not a home game. Wake, not a home game. Pitt, not a home game. Florida, not a home game. So I don't know. I just feel like that Florida State's going to really have to prove me. It will shock me if they can beat Clemson. I mean, I know that there's a lot of preseason hype around them. I just don't know how I feel about it. Now, the other team that's on Clemson's schedule for 2023 is Notre Dame, November 4th. And he has them at 10. He says, Marcus Freeman era opened up 0-3, but he went 9-2 in the last 11 games, including a Gator Bowl win, despite playing a backup quarterback most of the year. This year, transfer quarterback Sam Hartman provides a large upgrade at that position, and they have 16 returning starters. Notre Dame can jump right into the national title contention with home games versus Ohio State and Southern California, and their toughest road test is at Clemson. If they improve on the offense, a top 10 defense, and a 6th overall rated special teams. So let me ask the chat this, and I need you to get in. If you're in, we have, I think, almost 30 people in the chat. Who's got the better chance of getting to the playoffs? Notre Dame, Clemson, or Florida State? In your true, honest opinion, take your orange-colored glasses off. Who has the better chance of getting in to the playoffs? Let me put that in there. Who has a better chance of getting in the playoffs? And I'll put Clemson, FSU, and let me add an option here, and I'll put Notre Dame. All right, I got the poll in there. Okay, Clemson, Florida State, Notre Dame. Who has a better chance of getting in the playoffs? So the poll is running right now over on YouTube. I got to get your thoughts on this. I mean, obviously, Phil still seems to think Clemson still got something in the tank here. 2nd in their top 10, top 40. Now, he said it's not the same as the power ratings. Did I miss the power ratings? Trying to see if I can find. Okay, the power poll. His power poll has Clemson 6th. And just one above Florida State. So he has Clemson as 6 overall and Florida State 7. So the power poll for Phil Steele, Clemson's at 6, but the preseason top 40, Clemson is at 2. Now, Aaron Burr gets in. He says, huge Tiger fan here. He thinks Clemson. Thank you for getting in, Aaron, by the way. I don't think I've seen you earlier, so thank you. But he says he thinks Clemson may have the easiest of the 3 schedules. Well, let's take a look at it. So Clemson, the Blue Devils, okay, Duke, Charleston Southern, Florida Atlantic, Florida State. They get Florida State at home. Syracuse always provides a problem, but see, Dino Babers is on the hot seat right now. He's got worse things going for him. Wake Forest, their roster to me is getting worse. Miami they've not figured it out. I'm sorry, Miami fans, they're not there. You're not there. Although that game is at Miami. NC State, at NC State, Brennan Armstrong with the offensive coordinator Anai, right? They get reunited at NC State. Now that's an away game. So that two away game there seems stressful. Miami, at NC State, and then Notre Dame. So those to me, that's probably a difficult stretch there. Georgia Tech, North Carolina, and then at South Carolina. Florida State. three toughest games. Clemson, LSU. Outside of Clemson, LSU, who else does Florida State play that would be concerning to you? FSU, they do not. FSU plays LSU, Southern Miss, Boston College, Clemson, Virginia Tech, Syracuse, Duke, Wake Forest, Pitt, Miami, North Alabama, and Florida. I don't know. I mean the beginning of the season is tough. I don't know if I feel like that Florida State has a more difficult schedule than Clemson. Do you really think that? I don't know. And then Notre Dame has Navy, Tennessee State, NC State, Central Michigan, Ohio State, Duke, Louisville, Southern California, Pitt, Clemson, Wake Forest, Stanford. So Notre Dame has the harder schedule of the three. So I do think Clemson has a better schedule than Notre Dame. Florida State has a better schedule than Notre Dame. But does Clemson or Florida State, who has the better schedule? Hard to say. Hard to say. I mean, that's why we play the games, but it's exciting. It's exciting to talk about for sure. Something that I wanted to try out today. This is completely random. This is some bonus. Since it's 8:30, this is some bonus stuff. So I got this game. I got this game on my phone, and it's called The Program. I don't know if anybody plays any like college football games. You know, it may be absolutely ridiculous. I don't know, but you know how there's always streamers always playing games. So I thought, hey, why not me? Why not me? Why can't I play a game? So I'm gonna try this this game on my iPhone here, and I'm gonna try to like actually have it up. I'm just gonna see if this will work. I don't really know if it'll even work, fellas. I really don't. I don't. I mean, I'm goofing off here, you know? I'm goofing off. Let me see. So I'm gonna take down the photo. I'll take down. Oh, by the way, we got to see what the chat was. The chat 64% Clemson and 18% FSU, 18% Notre Dame. So Clemson has the best chance of getting to the playoffs according to the chat. Oh, by the way, let me do some housekeeping, if you will. You see up there at the top, if you want to shout out, if you want an exclusive badge, if you want exclusive emojis, 99 cents a month, join the 110% club. If you're not willing to give 110% or at least 99 cents, don't join the 110% club. Like and subscribe. First of all, like this video if you like the video, but like the video, that'll help me out. So just please like the video. That'll help get other people to see, my channel. So like the video. And then finally, I have a DraftKings as well. I have a DraftKings in the description. I have a DraftKings league. So if you want to do some daily fantasy with me when football starts, I'm going to do paid contests. I'm going to do free contests. So literally anybody who wants to join can join in, and we'll have a good time with it. All right, here we go. Let's here we go. Here's the program. The program. All right, I'm not going to let it allow. Okay, this is the program, College Football Manager. How about this? I've not started. You know what? I might have to hold on. It's gonna make me sign in. It's gonna make me sign in. I don't want you hoodlums to see my sign in. I can't trust you with my sign in here, so bear with me. Can't have you hoodlums doing this and viewing my. And sure enough, it's gonna get my password and everything. Uno momento here. Bear with me here as I am signing in to this. All right, I gotta 6-factor authentication here. All right. Okay, so let's see if I can get it back up on the screen for you. All right, so this is the program, College Football Manager. Start new career. Let's start new career. All right, head coach name, because I got to put my name in, right? Okay, what's our school name? We're going to go with Clemson here. I need your help. This is not just going to be me. I need your help. What's the school name that we go with here? Do we just go with Clemson? Make it easy. Tigers? Tig says Tiggs Academy. Yeah, we could do Tiggs Academy, but, that would be, my daughter's homeschool is Thomas Academy. All right, how about that? So we'll do Morgan Thomas, school name Clemson, mascot Tigers, abbreviation CU, because, well, I guess we could do CLE. CLE? You want to do CLE or CU? We'll do CU. All right. Oh, my goodness. Look at the logos. All right. I got to find a tiger here. Hold on. I got to find it. Where's a tiger? BYOG University. Could do that. Where's the tiger? Okay. Oh, okay. Here we go. Yes. What do you think? Should we do white tiger? LSU looking tiger. Let's do that tiger. Color. Something like that. There we go. Alternate color, purple. Of course. Look at that. All right. Now that looks pretty legit, fellas. That looks legit. I like that. All right, here we go. Okay, school campus. Lakeside campus or Autumn campus? Well, I think you have to go with the Lakeside campus, do you not? I mean, Clemson has a lake. So I think that's what you do, right? All right. All right, Fantasy Moguls, game developer. Welcome to early access. Oh, I didn't know this is early access. Please be aware the game is in active development, and new content and features will be added. We've also started a Facebook group. We appreciate your time. All right, so I didn't know this was experimental here. To get started, tap the button below to start your next season. I'm getting nervous. Are you nervous? Let's see. All right, Theodore Barlow, president of the CFAA. Coach Thomas, the college football season is about to begin. Let's get some details out of the way. You and your program are starting off in the All-American Conference. Okay. Conference level 1, recruiting quality poor. Current conference score 0 out of 45. Score 45 points in the All-American Conference to earn a prestige level for your school. Conference achievements. Okay. Succeed here and you may be invited to join a more prestigious conference. Which, by the way, I think that they need to do relegation like they do in soccer. Conference achievements. 10,000 total season score. 1,650 season score. Shutouts, record 3 shutouts. Rivalry, defeat the Lexington College Pistons. So, the Lexington College Pistons, that's our rival. All right, 1,200 recruiting points. Increase interest of your recruits in your program. 1 flight tokens. Fly your scout to anywhere on the scouting map. Schools in this conference are provided the resources listed above to build their programs. Resources don't roll over the next year, so use them all during the 11-game season. You know, it's like the military. Use it and lose it. Your program has also been awarded the tokens above for hiring new staff. 1 staff swap tokens. Swap team coordinators with new playbooks. Spend at the team office on your campus to hire and improve your staff. I'm not gonna you know what? I'm only gonna hire within. Invest the future seasons by saving these tokens or spend them now to upgrade your personnel. Well, I don't know anything about my personnel to upgrade them yet. The boosters, fans, and players are all expecting big things from the program this year. It's go time, coach. Let's get the season started. Let's do this. All right. It says, Tony Haywood. Hey, coach, before you start building your program, let's cover some basics. The season is split into weeks and days. See, this is me showing you. Tickled says, Quawk getting nerd on you. This is me waiting for, NCAA 2024. Hey, if and when NCAA 2024 comes out, I will play it at least once on the channel because I used to love that game. All right, so at the top you can see the calendar of your week. Okay, we see that. Each day you'll have a number of tasks to manage. You can complete tasks by tapping on the highlighted locations on campus. Let's take a quick tour to get acquainted with your facilities. Over this way is your training facility. Okay, we got a training facility. That's good. Improve your players by assigning them specific training regimens. Okay. This building here is your scouting office. Okay, this is where you'll direct your scout around the country. Okay. Your scout will uncover recruits as he travels each day. Close by is your recruiting center. Well, you know, Clemson should have one of the best. Your scouted prospects are managed and actively recruited here. On this side of campus, you'll find your team office. As a head coach, you'll need to hire and fire staff here. You can look at who's available to sign here. Just over this way is the Hall of Honor. It's a bit empty right now, but we're going to fill it over time. That's right. And finally, your school stadium. There, where every Saturday is game day. I think that, tasks that are urgent for today are marked in red. Use the tabs at the bottom to manage your roster and the season. When ready, you can tap this button to advance the next day. Well, all right. Now what do I do? Okay, All right. Okay. We got a few things. So where should I go? Training facility. Should I go to the training facility? Look at that stadium. Look at the campus, y'all. Where should I go? The training facility? Um, where should I go? Put it in the chat. Let me know. Or scouting. Okay. All right, we'll go scouting. Let's go scouting. Hey, coach, welcome to the scouting office. Your work here will be crucial to your long-term success. Let's walk through the basics so you can get down to planning. Scouting recruits is done on the ground by your scout. Scattered around the country are promising recruits. You'll need to plan and direct your scout's travel path. Your scout is represented on the map by this icon. Oh, look at that car. That's pretty cool. The map is made up of points of interest linked by routes. Your scout can move to any point linked to one they occupy. When you move your scout to a new point, you'll use one scout move. Each day, you'll gain one scout move. Points where recruits can be scouted are shown with pins. Moving your scout to one of these points will scout the recruit. Positions you'll need to fill next season are marked with a exclamation mark. There are also rewards on the map you can acquire. These can be crucial to closing out a great recruiting class. Also available to your scout are flights. You can spend a flight token to travel to any point on the map. Make sure to use your flight wisely to get out of tough spots. So it's kind of like a board, I guess. You know, once you hire your scouts, you may notice points linked like this. These scouts are map scout shortcuts unique to that scout that you've hired. Your scout can travel across these shortcuts like normal points. Keep your eye out for new scouts with their unique talents. Finally, there are a few tools to help navigate. Scout on center and zoom in and zoom out. That about covers it. Good luck. Looking forward to this year. Oh my goodness. Our scout, what is our scout? First of all, what is our scout doing all the way up in Maryland? Okay. So from what it looks like to me, Clemson, let's go to team needs here. A wide receiver, 2 tight ends, a tackle, a defensive tackle, a linebacker, and a cornerback. So the only lines I can go to today are either nothing or a center. I think you got to go to the center, don't you? You have to move there to scout the center. I think that's where you got to go. That's where we're going to go. We're going to go to Frederick, Maryland. And we're going to tap this. And a 1-star recruit, Barry, how do you say that? Barry Arden? 1-star recruit. He's interested. He's 5% interested. See, I'm already liking this. Should I recruit the player or decline? Let me know in the chat. Chat, you are the decision maker. Should I recruit the player? Should I recruit Barry or decline? You get plus 5 on this if you pass. Now, it did say we didn't need a center. Tiggs says pass. Is Tiggs the only one left with me? Tiggs might be the only one not checked out here. Okay, I scrolled down and we already have Clinton Tisdale. He's a junior. And then we have Kevin Bayer, who's a sophomore. So we have 2 guys that still have eligibility left, we're going to decline. All right, now this scout doesn't have any more moves, so we got to back out. And the next thing we're going to do is go to the training facility. All right, we got to learn about this. What should the training coordinator, Rob Beckhart, what should me and the boys work on this week? Okay. Muscle beach, helping hands, receiving core, or walk the line. Walk the line is for run blocking. Receiving core skills for your receivers. Helping hands, being able to handle catching the ball with wide receivers and tight ends. And muscle beach is it's time to shrink your testicles and get pumped. Wow. Grab 2 of your besties, a unitard, and some syringes. I feel like that's illegal. So which one should I do? I feel like I can't do Muscle Beach on principle alone. I don't want to have a roided up college football team. So what should I do? Helping hands? I was thinking helping hands myself. All right, so we'll go with helping hands. And we got a couple of guys, tight ends, wide receivers. And our best wide receiver, Tom Cutler, senior. We'll start the training there. All right, so what else is there to do? Nothing really. We're good. We're good, right? So we got all these recruiting points, but I don't really know what to do with them. Season score, standings, roster. There's my roster. Bernard Gunn is our quarterback. Isaac Bush. Tom Cutler is our best. Looks like Tom Cutler, wide receiver, is our best player. Looks like. Oh, we got Michael Klein, senior inside linebacker. All right. Do we have any good kickers? No. Oh, we got a good punter. Decent punter. Okay. So I'm thinking we advance to the next day. What do you think? I mean, we got everything here. I'll finish this at 9, by the way. Or maybe we should play at least one game. All right. Tuesday, day 2. Day 2, what do we got to do? Let's go opponent scouting. Let's do opponent scouting because we haven't done that yet. John McGavin, lead research analyst. Do you want to dig into Fort Knox University's offensive or defensive tactics? Yeah, I better have 85 players, that's for sure, right? Okay, so in your opinion, what should I do? Scout the offense, the opposing offense, or scout the opposing defense? What should I do? Now, remember, it looked like we had better players on offense than we did defense. So what do you think? I'm thinking we scout their defense. What do you think? It provides a game day boost to the opposite. So if we scout the defense, our offense is even better. Or if we scout the offense, our defense is better. What do you think we should do? Scout the defense. Sounds good. Sounds good. I'll say it. All right, we're going to scout the defense. We get a bonus to run blocking for the tackle and speed. What are these plus signs here? Oh, I already picked it. I didn't realize. Okay, I should have. Can I unpick it? Oh, no. I clicked it. I clicked too soon. All right, so I went with run blocking and speed. Oh, well. I really would have wanted to do pass blocking, but. Playbook on defense. So their best player is Richard Newsom. They got a defensive end, number one linebacker, and they got two great defensive ends, and they do a 3-3-5. Oh, that's pretty cool. Shows you what defensive plays they do. Rotate coverage to wide receiver 2. D-line stint, cloud cover 3, cloud cover 2 robber. Cover 2 robber. Okay. All right. That's our scouting. Hopefully. All right, now let's get our recruiting trail going here. Now we know we need a linebacker, so I'm thinking we go up there to the linebacker. Not only that, it leads us towards that treasure chest. So that's what I'm thinking. Let's go up to that linebacker. Welcome to Pennsylvania. I like that. It was a cool little pop-up. Tap to scout. Two-star recruit in Philadelphia. Okay, we have a senior, a junior, a junior, a freshman. So what is a two-star recruit? It doesn't really tell you what their rating will be, but what do you think? Okay, here's a two-star linebacker, Joel Bermudez. What do you think? Should we recruit him? He's 3% interested currently. Should we scout him? Should we recruit him? We need a linebacker. I mean, we drove all the way up there. I'm thinking, let's recruit him. Tell me I'm wrong. Pull the trigger. Pull the trigger. Okay, I'm going to recruit him. Ooh, he's 21 overall. Okay, once you recruit him, then you get to see his rating. 6'6", 238. How is he a two-star? How is this guy a two-star? 6'6", 238. 3% chance recruit commits. A 97% chance that he loses interest if we request him to commit. We're not going to do that. Okay, here's where we get some points in. It's a position of need. We have 1,205 points. What do we do? Do we do a personal visit? Do we call him? Do we email him? Do we text him? Nobody emails anybody anymore. This game is called The Program. I saw it on an ad on social media, and I was like, I gotta down. First of all, so here's the thing. I saw this on an ad on social media, and I said, I gotta play this with my live stream. Okay, so it's called The Program. College football. It's still in development, but I'm loving it so far. I'm loving it. Tell me this isn't fun so far. Okay. Text. I'm saying we don't text him. I'm saying we go all in on this. We need to give him a personal visit. This will be 37% interest boost. You would call him. I think we go visit the guy. 6'6", 238 pounds. He's already got the measurables, guys. He's already got the measurables. Why wouldn't we go ahead and visit him? I say go ahead and visit the guy. You're not going to change my mind. I'm doing it. I'm clicking on it. 150. All right. Your weekly recruiting action has been taken for this recruit. We just popped him up to 40% interest now. 6'6", 238. All right. Our scout doesn't have any more moves left. We don't have any more things read, so you know what we got to do? We got to advance the next day. Here we go, day 2, or day 3 now. All right, we just finished up the most recent training regiment, Coach. Francisco Brown +2. Route running. Or is that route running? Tom Cutler didn't get any bonus from that. All right, let's go back to scouting because I'm loving this scouting. Oh man, this is okay. I think we got to go. Okay, here's my question to you. Looking at the route here. Do I go further into Pennsylvania? Look at that guy. There's a guard over there. There's a guard over there in New York. Okay, red is the hot zone. No, it's just broken up by regions. Red, blue, yellow, orange. And remember, it didn't ask me where my school was. So I don't think it knows. So the colors are not by hot zone. I don't think that's true. So do I continue into Pennsylvania and possibly open myself up for the linebacker? Should I plan the route to go up to the treasure chest, or plan the route to go to the cornerback and the linebacker, or do I plan the route to go back down towards the south and recruit in the south and go down that line, down Virginia, like if I go down that line, down Virginia to North Carolina and then down to Greenville. There's a tackle in Greenville or Clemson. You know, we got to honestly. What do you think we should do? One, two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm going to stay up in the north because, okay, we're in Harrisburg now. I'm going to stay up in the north because the way I've mapped it out, I can get 2 treasure chests and a couple of other big time recruits. Okay, let's go to the training facility here. Okay, this week, today, what do we want to work on? Senior staycation. They get to stay in an old. They say an old dog can't learn new tricks, and that's these guys halfway out the door. The staycation is a chance for each senior to reach for the stars with a massive rating boost. Rocket Man, your quarterback could use a little help on their cannons. Helping hands again, or make it or break it, your players will earn a huge overall gain with this training. So you got 3 groups, and so do I help the seniors out? Do I improve the quarterback's cannon of an arm? Do I do more catching drills, or do I improve 2 players overall? What do you think I should do here? What do I do? If you were the recruit, what would you do? Or if you were the recruiting coordinator, or excuse me, the training coordinator, what would you do? Help the quarterback? Okay, all right, we'll go with that. Bernard Gunn. I need Bernard to get our starting QB, Bernard, to get in there. All right, now we get something new, press conference. Summer Sheldon. The defense has been good pressuring opposing quarterbacks. We know that because they got the other team has 2 really good defensive ends. What do you guys do to get the best out of your defensive line? Or maybe she was talking about us. Okay. There's nothing more exciting than seeing these big boys get after the quarterback. That's my favorite part of this wonderful game. We mix it up. Well, we scheme, we run stunts, we come up with interesting ways to hide which players are going to be hunting. We make sure these guys get quality reps in practice and that they study film properly. Which one would you say? I'll go with the first one. There's nothing more exciting than see these big boys get after it. Passionate trait. Tight end Wayne Gilbert forwarded this +8 awareness. Wide receiver Robert Baker started dancing. Kevin Bayer, center, high-fived me. And tight end Stephen Battle loved this. Awesome. I got a bunch of improvements there. All right, what is this? I've been noticing this red crown thing. No season pass, buy in the campus store. Well, I'm not buying anything. You're not going to sucker me into that. All right, here we go. Day number 4. Hey, if you're not already, make sure you subscribe and like, and let's see what we got. All right, let's go back to scouting. You know my favorite thing here. I'm going to go up to the treasure chest because I want to see what that is. Opening reward. By the way, the stream has been going on very nicely. 25 plus 25 scouting. Double your reward. We'll watch an ad. We'll double my reward. Hey, who knows? Maybe the makers of this game will give me a free pass or something. I don't know. You know, you got to watch an ad. It is what it is. I'm not going to pay for it right now. All right. That's 50 recruiting points, scouting reward. That's a big deal, fellas. That's a big deal. We're going to go back to Harrisburg and then back around. That's what we're going to do. All right, game day planning. All right, I'm confident. This is defensive coordinator. Bum Wilson, defensive. How would you love that? Bum Wilson. Coach, I'm confident in the playbook we've got, but I want to make sure we're all in agreement. Can we want to do a quick review? Yes. All right. Oh, we get 4 plays. Okay, we got to pick from 4 plays. Our plays are a 3-3-5 zone blitz right, aggressiveness, 3 knives, cover 4, aggressiveness, 1 knife. That was a nickel defense, and then a SS Robber 3-3-5 defense. Honestly, I'm Brent Venables. I'm aggressive. I'm going with the zone blitz of a 3-3-5. We got to be aggressive here. It's not time to not be aggressive. All right. So we did a 3-3-5. This is gap stack 4-4 defense. I like the gap stack. Standard goal line. You could probably get away with a 4-4 instead of a standard goal line. The base nickel with, 7 players drop back. I don't like that. I'm going to do that. All right. We probably do need something passing related. 46 right side overload blitz. CB2 blitz rotate coverage. I do like that. I do like that one. QB spy. Now, the 3-3-5 QB spy, I love. Actually, I'm going to play that one. And then, okay, the base 3-4. It's always good to have a base 3-4 zone. Inside linebacker blitz. I like that. Or CB1 blitz 3-4 defense. I'll go with that one. All right. That's our playbook. We got a zone blitz right, gap stack, QB spy, and CB1 blitz. All right. Did we miss our recruiting? Oh, you only get to recruit him once a week. Okay, you only get to recruit a guy once a week. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's look at the campus store. What is the season pass? Season 1, $3.99. $3. Is it worth it? Let's advance to the next day. All right, day 5. It's a Friday. Hey, it's Friday. It's time to go to the hotel. It's time to go to the hotel and get ready for the next game. All right, let me know what you got in store for them next. Rocket Man. Bernard got +4 arm. Maestro +4. And Raymond +2. All right, let's go scouting here. And again, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back down. I'm going to move him back down to Harrisburg, like I said. See, now we're rolling. Now we're rolling. I'm going to go back to the training facility here. Now, all right, this is where I need your help. Let me know which players you want me to work with today. 0, are they? The offense takes over the training facility for 2 days of overall offensive training. So improve the entire offense. Improve the tight ends. Improve all of your juniors. Or improve all of your defenders on pass rushing. So pass rushing, improve juniors, improve tight ends, or improve all of the offense. What training should I do on Friday? Get in the chat. Let me know what you think. Pass rushing, I was thinking the same. All right, that's what we'll do. We'll do pass rushing here. And now I guess we get to pick Alan Blaster. Hey, Coach, can you finalize the playbook for this week's game? Pick your preferred plays, and I'll get the guys coached up. All right, let's see. Quick outs. Oh, I'm kind of bitter on that. 6 yard, is short 6-yard pass. Wide receiver 3, quick screen. I feel like we have to pick the wide receiver screen, don't we? Don't we have to pick? I mean, aren't we obligated? Come on. Aren't we obligated to pick the wide receiver screen? I think we're obligated. I think I'm going to do it. I'm doing it. Wide receiver screen it is. All right. Option routes. Hey. Hello, Kyle Richardson. Okay, a G block counter right. You know the G block counter right is going to be one of those plays that Garrett Riley loves. He loves the counter. Deep pass left. Well, that's not a short pass. So we got to have a run play. All right. Long. It's a long pass. Okay, razor route, shotgun empty set. I do really like that route. Deep pass right with some options at the top of the tree with some options after 15. Or deep crossing routes. Okay, we got to do deep crossing routes, shotgun. All right, X shadow, another crossing. Is X shadow a play action? No, it's not. Okay. Oh, the wide receiver 1 bubble. I don't want to do that. Cross lateral option. I actually like this play. There's more variety in this play because you have that guy that's going 10 and stop. So I'm going to do that. And then another bubble screen. I'm not interested. A running back draw. Not really interested. Rub routes, that would work great. All right, we'll confirm that. We got our playbook in, fellas. Our playbook is in. I'm ready to get to the game. Tomorrow is game day. You've been waiting this long. It's time. All right, let's advance to the next day. We're moving on to Friday. It's game day. Our scout is still out. He's going to go check out this cornerback over in Pittsburgh or in Pennsylvania. Let's see what we got. A 2-star cornerback. Ooh, Otis Ortiz. I mean, it says we need him, and he's got 11%. So I say we recruit him. 21.2. So 2-star, 21.2. Okay, 5'10", 169. 5'10's not bad, don't you think? 5'10's not bad. Oak Glen High School, New Cumberland, West Virginia. I thought I was in Pennsylvania. Again, I think we go do a visit. Let's go do a visit. Let's pump him up. 50% chance here. It's early on in the season, but you only have 11 weeks now. All right, what's next? Is it really game day? Ooh, it's game day. Oh, man, I'm excited. Here we go. All right. The Clemson Tigers versus Fort Knox University Golden Aces. We're 22.8 on offense and 21.2 on defense. They are 22 on offense, 22.4 on defense. I'm stressed. Here we go. Here we go. We're 9th. Mike, this is called the program on the App Store. The program college football. I think you just look up the program. I wanted to try it out. I wanted to try it out for the live stream with you guys to see what you thought, and so far I like it. I mean, it feels like a college football game should. Okay, so first game of the season, first step towards 11-0. Let's go! Pat Collinsworth. Let's take a quick look at today's matchups. First game in series history, Golden Aces starting 9 seniors. Tigers starting 12 seniors. Scouting bonuses, we're good at run blocking and speed for our tackles. Their tackles are good at pass blocking and run blocking. Ooh. Up to game time. Money, money, money. Okay, Clemson's top players. Tom Cutler, wide receiver. Michael Klein, linebacker. We saw him. And then Bernard Gunn. Yeah. All right. And then Fort Knox University's. Ooh, they got a stud defense. Okay, there's center. I'm not so worried about it. Sean Cleghorn, man. Yeah, he's good. Richard Newsom, defensive end, and then William Homan, running back. Okay, they got a center and a running back there, so I think they're probably going to run on us. I know my playbook. I really don't need to see the playbook again. All right, here we go. Wow, this is going fast. Wait a minute. I mean, is this simming? 7-3. I thought I'd be picking plays. So that is a little bit of a disappointment. Oh. Come on. Run for 8 yards, run for 6 yards, run for 8 yards. Okay, end of the quarter. Second quarter. Sacked him. They missed a field goal. Touchdown, baby. Tigers up 14-3. Let's go. Got the ball back again. Oh, man, they can sacked us again. Had to punt that time. All right, we stopped them. Our defense is doing good. Oh, man, they sack us, man. We got a field goal this time, 17-3. 21-yard pass. A 14-yard run. Oh, man. Well, we stopped them on a field goal. It's the third quarter now. Third quarter. Another field goal. We held them to another field goal. Come on. Big time. 2 big time passes. Interception. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. They're running on us. Man, I'm telling you what. We get in the red zone, we stopping them. Or we held them for another field goal. Come on, offense. Big time 31-yard pass. Look at that. Touchdown, baby. We held them to a punt. Incomplete pass. Missed a field goal again. How many field goals are going to miss today? Eight minutes to go. A field goal. 44-yard field goal. Well, actually, probably more than that. 54-yard field goal? Another field goal. It should tell you the field goal yards. Our field goal kicker is really, really stepping up now. I mean, our field goal kicker, I was kind of bad-mouthing him at first, but they finally scored on us. They failed at the 2-point conversion. Game over, ladies and gentlemen. Game over. Almost 399 yards passing. Now, our rushing game, honestly, could improve. But, I only had one rushing play to go off of, the counter. 8 total drives. Beat them in first downs. They beat us in third down conversions. But did they really? They had 4. We had a better percentage than they did. They got 5 sacks, which we knew going into the game that the sacks would be a risk for our team because they had 2 great defensive ends. Now, tackles for loss, time of possession. Honestly, Fort Knox, we showed up tonight. Fort Knox is a great opponent, but, our preparation. Hats off. Hey, hats off to Fort Knox, Coach Smith over there. Hats off to them. They played us tough. They beat us in multiple categories in team stats. Ultimately, it came down to a couple of plays here and there, some big plays, and big shout out to our kicker. Our kicker who Robert Myrick, came through clutch today with a 61-yard field goal with 2 back-to-back, a 57-yard field goal, and then a 61-yard field goal. Just I couldn't be more proud of our guys. First game of the season. I think it's going to be a special season. I look forward. There's some things we got to improve. Obviously, a couple of drives here stalled, and we could improve rushing. But be good at what you're good at, right? Passing and kicking bombs. We have a bionic leg kicker. So 31-18. Congratulations, everyone. 1-0 on the season. I think we got to go to Saturday now. Or excuse me, go to Sunday. Let's finish out Sunday. We'll go up here to the linebacker. Did I need 2 linebackers? I only needed 1. So, but I'll go up. We'll go up to him. We'll see if he's just a 1-star, so we'll skip on him. Joe Hook, we're going to skip on you. And then what's next? Game review. Hey, Coach, it's the end of the week again. We've taken a look at how we performed at Saturday's game. After taking a look at my analysis, you can choose a player and have them practice a specific play to increase their execution proficiency. Ooh, all right. These are plays we ran this week. Dive into a specific play and select a player to learn that play. Look at that that quarterback spy. Note, defensive plays are called in response to offensive plays by your opponent. The call is based on which defensive play. As a result, some defense plays will not get used if they're not suited for your opponent's playbook. I mean, I want to do better. I like that rushing play. I'm going to try to do better with that. Okay, we improved, obviously, the running back. That's good. So, select a player. Okay. Well, I want to select the running back, of course. All right, so that was week 1. Yeah, where's the transfer portal? That's for sure. Where's the transfer? We don't need the transfer portal. Who needs the transfer portal? We want to know. All right, let's advance the week here. See what we get. Week 2, Monday. Nothing's really changed. All right. Jonah Matthews, sophomore wide receiver Francisco Brown led the way for the Tigers in the win. Brown had 137 receiving yards on 10 receptions. The Bloomfield, Indiana product entered Clemson as a 1-star recruit and is currently rated 22. Oh, boy. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go with the injuries. I knew this was going to happen. Julius Brown, team physician. Several players are recovering from injuries sustained in last game. We're evaluating their status for this week. All right, our number 1 quarterback has a hamstring problem. Not good, because you know hamstrings can linger. John Mastro has a hand problem. You know, that could be serious. We could lose him. Robert Baker, our wide receiver 1, has a finger problem. And Ernest Harris has a shoulder problem. Cornerback. When does a cornerback not have a shoulder problem? Really? I mean, Ernest, come on. Put a brace on. Let's go. All right. Game 2, we got to play the Lincoln State Lions. And you noticed our stats got worse, I guess because of those injuries. So the Lincoln State Lions versus the Clemson Tigers. All right, well, that's where I'll end it. I had a good time. I hope you did. I hope you enjoyed that, game there. I appreciate everyone being a part of the show tonight and doing something different, with college football kind of still waiting. Hopefully you enjoyed that. I'm gonna try to send this to the developers and show them that I'm playing it. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments if you missed anything. And again, as always, Tiger fans, we'll see you at the top. Well, first of all, let me get rid of that. But we'll see you at the top of the hill.